Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tell Me Something About Love, an interview series for and by queer and trans Black folks, all people of color, but we center Black folks on the show to just hear about our experiences creating in love, living in love, loving ourselves, and loving each other. And I'm really happy to be here with G and K, who are going to now introduce themselves and introduce their relationship.
Hi, I'm Kay.
And I'm G. And I'm Kay's partner, and we've been together for 13 years now.
That's cute. Yeah, we're together 13 years, and basically the whole time we've been polyamorous.
Wow.
And also we're married, legally married.
Nice. Thank you both for being here. Is there anything else that you'd say to describe your relationship? So you mentioned being married, being poly, being together for 13 years. So that's pretty long term. Is there anything else that stands out about like the way that you relate or yeah?
Well, I feel like the other way we relate is that we like do projects together. We have a production company together, which is Beyond Deep, and we do porn together and like other artistic projects. So we founded Beyond Deep in 2012, and I would say that also like has to do with how we relate because we're also business partners.
Wow. Okay. Did you want to add something?
And also we're kinky. Like there's also like a DS element to our relationship.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. I think
And
we'll
also,
get into.
thank you for having us. Like
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yay! I'm excited too. I'm excited to get into all of the things that you just named, those different aspects of your relationship. So, can you talk a little bit about in this long-term relationship that you're in? How have you two been able to just like navigate longevity and intimacy as business partners, as romantic partners, as it sounds like creative partners as well?
It's definitely been a challenge because there's so much like togetherness in our relationship. Like there isn't that separation. Like we don't go to work and then come home to each other. You know, like it's all like together in one. So it's definitely been a challenge to make sure that we prioritize space for our relationship, like outside of our business, and like prioritize rest and relaxation, like outside of our creativity and like productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely just making that space for each other, and just like knowing that like if the business were to fail, like we're still going to be like together. Like this is our life, and yeah, 13 years is a really long time, and I don't think that if we weren't also like being creative together, we weren't polyamorous, and we weren't like kinky, like all those things help to keep us together because that's just who we are as individuals, and also like what we need out of like our dynamic to be together for so long. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you say a little bit more about that? About how those things help? Yeah.
Well, I feel like just the sense of just being like very open as a person, like I'm very open, like to shifting dynamics and just like to people in general. And that's like helped us to like have like find people who we want to like work with as like partners in business, and also just people we want to be with like together intimately. And yeah, like
I think definitely like being polyamorous and like staying open and having other relationships has definitely helped me grow a lot as a person and like be a better partner. Like certain things that maybe I've like certain like shortcomings or faults that I've had like in our relationship. If I've like done the same thing in another relationship, sometimes it's easier to see, like honestly, and just like the amount of growth that we have as a couple, like and having other people's perspectives, like allowing, just basically allowing that like room for outside accountability in our relationship, I think has helped a lot. Like definitely we have like, and even not even being polyamorous, just like relying on our friends, like who really support us staying together, like that's helped a lot as well.
Yeah, that's really important just to have multiple reflections, like multiple mirrors who can kind of see you and help you see you. And as you're talking about your growth, like your personal growth through the relationship, I'm wondering, do you guys ever talk about, like, do you have a vision for like what you want your relationship to grow into, or also like yourselves, your personal selves? But is that something that you think about together? Like, what do we want to grow into, or what's our vision for our relationship?
That's such a beautiful question.
Yeah, like I feel like just, like just basically on the path we're on right now, it's just like doing our art together, like being with people who are also like creative and like wanna like participate in like the type of lifestyle that like we're already at right now, which is just like expanding like in our like creative endeavors and also just like expanding as people and trying to like feel, our own spiritual growth
Mm.
as like people, but also, inviting others into that and inviting like and trying to be a part of other people as they're on their spiritual journeys also. Like that definitely has helped like me grow and expand, just being open to that and just being open to those like shifting like dynamics in all of their forms, like whether it's personal, business, or like spiritual.
Mhm. I really appreciate and love how, just like how much generativity it seems that there is in your relationship, like to be creatives together, to make porn together, to just, be partners, to be open, to be polyamorous. There's a lot of eros, between the two of you, or just like a lot of energy and um, sensuality and intimacy, and wondering like how you, what's the question? It just seems like it's a lot, right? Like there's a lot of like energy. And maybe I'm wondering just about your process, like when there is a lot of like energy of creativity and sensuality, like how do you, and there's two of you, like how do you kind of make sure that it's aligned with each other, or uh, does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. We were talking about earlier today, like the importance of like solitude, and that even though we are basically together 24/7 and basically have been together 24/7 most of our relationship, um, we also like practice solitude in that like we are both very like independent and strong-willed and like focused on our individual projects as well that we have going, and just like our own selves. So like making sure that we stay grounded as individuals, I think is really important. And yeah, I think that's the way, like, yeah, just the fact that we can like be together, but still like have our own separate frequency.
Hmm. Does it feel easy for you to allow each other that space to kind of be in solitude sometimes, or go go internal?
I mean, like, it's sometimes it can be really hard because, like, obviously, solitude is not always like, like a positive thing. Like, sometimes solitude is because you're like depressed or like, there's other like factors, but like, yeah, like, I feel like there is a point that like it can be hard, but the point is if you are staying true to your needs and like your like self and your self-love, that it does become easier like to be in solitude, to be alone, and to like be like focused on yourself and stay true to that.
Yeah, I don't think it's always easy, especially if it's like needing space because of conflict. That's never easy, but it's definitely important to like try to prioritize that because especially when we have so much going on that's like together, like we have to make sure we like keep our own space.
Yeah. What are some practical things that you do to like ensure that you get that space?
One thing for me definitely is journaling. Um, yeah, like I'm a writer, and so in general, writing is a practice, but like journaling and just like having that as an outlet for my like personal feelings that I don't feel like I like have to share.
Yeah, and the same for me, like because I do like visual art, and like when I'm like drawing or painting, I'm like really in a zone. I'm like doing the things that I know like make me like just come back to myself. Things that I know that I love to do or that I like, whether it be like, taking a like herbal like bath or a shower or cleanse, or like, meditating at my altar, or like reading like articles, or just like zoning out on like Instagram or something, like taking that time to do something like for myself that I enjoy, like masturbating or something, anything really that like is a moment for me, like those are things that I try to do like every day, at least once every day.
Or like going for a walk, like going for a walk alone.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing those things. I feel like you named a lot of different things that can be accessible to different types of people if they're wondering, like how do you get space or take that space for yourself when you're in a relationship that has like high proximity, a lot of closeness. Um, so I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and talk about what it's like to make porn together as Black queer people. I think that's really amazing and revolutionary that you're doing that, and wonder if you have like an overall intention with like coming into the industry, and like what are your hopes, like what's your intention for the work that you're doing there?
Thank you for saying.
Definitely like intending to like help to liberate people, and like just liberate, people's sexuality, and just trying to like empower people through, you know, through like my sexuality, which I know is also healing. It's a healing tool that I use like to reach people, and in hopes that they'll like feel me and I can like spread the love.
Yeah, the intention definitely is like just to reach people in a way like when I was first discovering sexuality and like figuring myself out, porn was a way for me to do that. And there was really nothing that I saw that looked like me, or anything that I really like could relate to. And so being able to do that, like the fact that we are exhibitionists and we can put it out there, makes me feel like I should. Like someone has to do it. It's kind of how it feels, and the fact that we can just makes me feel like I should.
Hmm. Yeah. And what about like it sounds like there's a lot of intention to support other people, right? For other people to like see your journeys and find their own liberation through like seeing people on screen who we don't usually see. But what about, for your personal pleasure and like just your personal experiences, just how is it? How is it to do that?
Well, I mean, the very first porn we did, like we did when we were in college, and it was 2012, and we really needed the money. Like we saw there was a porn festival, and they were offering a cash prize, and we like really needed the money, so we were like, we might as well, we're already like have been like thinking about like doing porn, making porn. We already like made our own like personal porn and all that, because that just is like our kinky lifestyle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But putting it out there, we're like, you know what, we should just try this. And once we submitted to that festival and like they accepted our work, we didn't find out until we actually went to the festival that they like had edited our film down and like taken out certain parts that like we knew were like things that needed to be in there, like the orgasm, you know, point of view shots, like things that we like specifically wanted in there, they edited out. And we were just like, you know, this is something that's like important for us to keep doing, because if they're gonna edit that out, you know, it just seems like that's something that's important to just keep putting out there, you know. And it's like in that festival, like we were the only ones who they even showed like fucking who are Black, and so we were just like, for them to like cut our shit up, it was just like, you know, it just felt like, yes, once again another thing we're being censored, and that like needs to be out there. So that basically propelled us to like keep like making our porns. And like actually we were in school and I like did a whole like essay in my final paper about like the importance of porn, and like I showed that porn in the class and like showed the edited version and showed like the version we wanted to put out there, and like just to like show like this is something that's like really being heavily censored, like Black joy, Black sexuality, it's like being heavily censored and it's like necessary. So it definitely has like pushed us to like keep putting it out there. It's like something that personally like I feel is important for me to do for myself, you know, just as one of those people who they're just trying to keep down, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like it is like the pleasure I do get out of it is in sharing it, like, and showing it to other people, like, and seeing like people's reactions, like especially when we've been able to be in like the live audience and like hearing people like exclaim, you know, and like just the reaction afterward, like that just gives me so much life, like being able to share that, like something that is we're told we should be ashamed of, you know, like we shouldn't even be talking about, let alone like expressing. So being able to like share that with people, have people receive it and like give us that love back is just really affirming, like really just for like our identity.
Yeah. I can and can't imagine what that must feel like to, you know, have that witnessing and then see it live, you know, see other people witness you in that way. And what would you say is, like, for Black people, can you just talk a bit about the importance or necessity of sexual liberation and sexual freedom?
Well, I mean, just as like, you know, as like through history, like we've seen like so many people, like especially Black women, like treated in certain like sexualized ways, and it's continuing like throughout like, you know, throughout time, like it's continuing, and it just is a point to like reclaim that and like be in control of it, just like taking that power for myself, and for the fact that we like make our own porn and like we like shoot it ourselves, we edit it, we're like completely in control, like it takes that power back and just like reclaims it, and it just is very important to like break those stereotypes and like just, you know, take our sexuality and our power back, because that is why like, you know, we've been so like censored and so like oppressed, because it is so powerful, like it's like 100% like powerful.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like once you know that, like putting it out there, you can see the impact that it has, like changing other people's lives, you know, and the ways that it's even changed my life, putting it out there is like vast. Like the opportunities, the like resources and everything we've gotten just because of like done my sex magic, I've done like put it out there, you know, it's apparent.
Yeah. it is definitely like, it definitely does feel like reclaiming. And like before we started doing our own porn, we did think about like possibly getting into the industry, like having someone else film us, but we were really weary of it because of just, yeah, the history of like being exploited and objectified, and just having someone else be in control of our sexuality and like presenting it how they want, and also even just profiting off of it. Like, honestly, that just doesn't feel good to me, like having someone else making more off of my sexuality than I'm making. And so being able to really take it into our own hands, and it's a message to say like it is ours, like to do with what we want. If we want to sell it, how we want to show it, it's ours, and no one can really change that.
Yeah, that's so important, that autonomy and ownership, like ownership of your bodies and also of your creation, like what you're creating and putting out into the world. G, when you were talking and you said, um, you were mentioning that it was like life changing, like it's kind of transformed your life to be doing what you're doing. Can you say more about that? Like how has it changed your life? I think I agree with you that like sex is and sexual liberation, and if we like were more tapped into that and less constricted around it, the world would be different. But yeah, how did you see it personally, like it changing your life? And do you have any words just about like transformation through sex and sex magic?
Well, I mean, it's like changed my life in so many ways. Like it's hard to say, but like specifically, but like just for the fact that like people who I've met like through like having put myself out there like that, like who are in my life now, who I never would have met, like other sex workers, other kinky people who knew, who've seen like me being kinky and know just because I put myself out there like that, like who I am, even just like you doing this interview right now, like knowing who we are and knowing like what we do and the amount of people who we've touched like through it, it's like I can't even really comprehend like how much, but like in just personally for me, like my own like sexual journey and my own sexual liberation has just like grown and expanded, like just from being able to put myself out there and feeling confident about it, and just like yeah, like just feeling like my kink and everything has just felt more affirmed just by putting it out there and just by like being open about it. And yeah, just the things that you can attract through like sex magic, like whether it be like financial or like just general, like anything really you can manifest through sex magic. And like that's yeah, like I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't like found this road.
Yeah, and definitely, and also with sex magic, like we definitely put a lot of focus on like everything that you can bring into your life, but like also one of the things that's helped me the most is like everything I've been able to let go of, like through sex magic. And even like being so out there about it, like if people don't resonate with that, I'll know very quickly, and so there's not a lot of energy, like fake energy in our life, and that's definitely something that's yeah, like I've been able to let go of a lot through sex magic, and that's one of the things is definitely the bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the letting go. Like that's so important, like to be able to shed and not be attached to old ways and things. And okay, first, can you guys say what is sex magic? If people don't know or are unfamiliar, what is it? How you do it? Like just give us a little 101 sex magic.
Basically, sex magic is using your sexual energy to call in, or just focusing your sexual energy to use toward whatever your intention is, really. So that could be like while you're actually having sex or masturbating, or it could just be like literally just sitting there and meditating, thinking about like your sexual energy. It doesn't have to be like the actual practice of sex.
Yeah, and just like intentionally just putting your your like thoughts and what you want or need or whatever you're trying to manifest, like intentionally putting it into that moment. Like if you were to like say you were to orgasm and you're to like right before you're orgasming, you're thinking all about like the things you want or whatever you're trying to like find out or manifest. And you basically just release it like to that energy, and you can feel after like the vibration that will carry like anything sexual that you do, that energy like puts out the vibration into the world, and it comes back to you, and like you might not feel the effects immediately, but eventually you will feel it. And it's never going to manifest like the way you think that it will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're saying you can use sex magic, sexual energy to create your life, to create the life that you want to live, to be the person who you want to be through letting go and also attracting what you need and want. Like the sexuality that you're talking about, it feels very magical, like it feels very spiritual. And so it's making me think about love and like how does love intersect with this type of sexual energy?
Well, I mean, for me, like I'm always thinking about like love and like spreading spreading love to other people. Like even in a lot of the like times when I am like manifesting like things through my sex magic, like I am thinking about like my love for others, my love for the world, and like my love for myself. And a lot of times I'm thinking about that, and I think that it's always intersecting for me. Obviously, like not for everyone. Everyone who uses sex magic has their own like intentions behind it, but obviously, like for me, I'm always thinking about love. So
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that is kind of like I try to do everything from that place of love, like everything in my life. Yeah. And so, yeah, like G was saying, like the sex magic of the intentions I put out for the world. Yeah, it's always like from a place of love, definitely.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I feel that from the two of you that like it's not just, I don't want to say just, but that's the only way I can say the sentence. But like it's not just a physical act, that you're talking about, like sex. Which nothing wrong with if that's how people are having sex, but that there's something more, there's some depth and yeah, like real intention in the ways that you're using your bodies, and that there's something like energetic and spiritual and loving, like yeah, that there's love underneath. I definitely feel that.
Thank you for recognizing. That feels good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we're kind of gonna get close to wrapping up. I'll just ask a couple more questions. I like to ask people what their what's your vision for queer Black people in love is. Like, what would be like your highest ideal for how we can be together with ourselves and each other in love?
I feel like ideally, I just want us all to be like safe and like have what we need, and just like have also what we want, and have space for our desires to like be actualized in all different ways.
Yeah. That I was thinking, and like also the ability to like support each other in whatever our like relationship goals are. So like, my friends who are monogamous and want to get married, like being able to support them in that. Like my friends who are polyamorous and want to like build their like kinky family of their dreams, supporting them in that, and being able to just everyone be able to just like come from that place of like self love and loving each other, and like being able to just have everyone have what they need.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for Thank you for those answers. And the last thing I'll ask is, what do you each love about each other?
One of the things that I love the most about G is how like just compassionate and understanding G can be like toward other people's like situations without even knowing, just out of like genuine love like for other people, just like being able to show up and care for others, like it's just so special to me.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the same too for Kay. Like, I love how compassionate Kay is, but also I love how, like, just impassioned Kay is about, like, just like everything, really. And just like Kay's passion and just Kay's, like, just love for, like, other people and, like, just like the world at large.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you for allowing people to witness you and your relationship and your love and all of the work that you're doing. That's so valued and important. And yeah, just for being here and talking with me for a little bit.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad.